As the world watches in amazement the aftermath of Operation Midnight Hammer, the destruction of a fortified complex buried deep beneath a mountain, it's easy to think this is something new, but it's not. More than 80 years ago, a British engineer named Barnes Wallis designed a bomb with the same goal: to penetrate the earth, bypass reinforced concrete and armor, and destroy targets from beneath. The events of the past few days aren't just a breakthrough in modern warfare. They're a continuation of a legacy that began in World War II. This is the story of how one man's radical idea still shapes the battlefield today.
During World War II, thousands of tons of bombs rained down across Europe. Yet most conventional explosive bombs designed to destroy cities couldn't even scratch Germany's most critical underground facilities or armored U-boat pens. But one oddball British inventor had a strange idea. What if a bomb didn't just explode, but instead burrowed into the earth under the target and caused a shockwave so strong that it shook the structure apart? A weapon so powerful, it didn't need a direct hit to destroy its target. Conventional World War II bombs were designed to detonate on contact, blasting apart buildings, vehicles, and troops. To maximize explosive payloads, they had thin casings to maximize the weight of explosive that a bomber could carry. By mid-1942, German U-boats were sinking merchant ships at an unsustainable rate. The RAF tried to hit the U-boats in port, but could not penetrate their reinforced concrete pens. No matter how many bombs the Allies dropped, the structures stood firm. Desperate for a solution, the RAF turned to an unlikely figure.
So there is no greater joy in life than first proving that a thing is impossible and then showing how it can be done.
Barnes Wallis, an eccentric engineer at Vickers Armament Company who had some unconventional ideas, such as a bomb that bounced and a bunker buster bomb so big that no aircraft at the time could carry it. He had already developed a solution to this problem, but no one at the time took any notice. After the success of his bouncing bomb in attacks on the Ruhr dams, now famous as the Dam Buster raids, RAF Bomber Command was prepared to listen to his other ideas, even though they often thought them strange.
Asked me if I remembered my mad idea of a 10-ton bomb.
The concept was simple, yet terrifying. Explosions in open air dissipate force and is bad at transferring energy. But an explosion in soil or water, on the other hand, transmits the explosive force by means of a shock wave more efficiently to the target. Barnes Wallis's idea was to use this effect as a means to shake structures apart rather than destroying them by direct explosive energy. Wallis believed that a near miss below a target could be far more destructive than a direct hit above it, due to structural damage making repair uneconomic. But to deliver that kind of penetrative force, the bomb would have to survive slamming into the ground or fortified target at over 1,200 kilometers per hour. That meant a single cast, high tensile steel shell with a hardened nose to punch through the soil or reinforced concrete to a depth of 24 meters. Delayed fuses so it wouldn't explode until buried. To prevent tumbling, the fins were given a slight twist that made it spin like a bullet, increasing stability and accuracy. The result? A 12,000-pound bomb so massive that only a specially modified Avro Lancaster bomber could carry it. Armor and gun turrets were removed to save weight. The bomb bay had to be redesigned. Manufacturing tall boys was labor-intensive. The materials used were costly, with precise engineering requirements that meant each one was largely handmade. To increase penetrative power, the powerful but expensive Torpex filling was used instead of TNT. Given their high unit cost, tall boys were used exclusively against high-value strategic targets that could not be destroyed by other means. These weren't bombs to be wasted. If a mission was canceled, crews were ordered to bring them back, not dump them over the sea, as was the case with other bombs. The first test came in France, at the Semur rail tunnel, a key Nazi supply line to the Normandy beaches. One tall boy bored 18 meters into the hillside and exploded inside the tunnel, collapsing it completely. From there, tall boys were deployed extensively in Operation Crossbow, the long-running campaign to neutralize the German V1 and V2 Wonder weapons, which had their production moved underground to avoid Allied bombing. One notable raid in this campaign was on the Mimoyek's underground complex, believed to be connected with rocket launching and maintenance. After numerous conventional bomber attacks, the site was put out of commission by a direct tall boy hit. When Canadian troops captured the facility, they discovered something incredible: the nearly completed and until then unknown V3 multi-barreled supergun, built to bombard London into rubble within a few months of coming into service. Another key target was the German battleship Tirpitz, a constant threat to Allied convoys to Russia. Hidden deep in a Norwegian fjord, protected by torpedo nets and heavy armor, it had survived numerous blows until 3 tall boys punched through her deck, causing a magazine explosion leading to her capsizing. Although U-boats were no longer the threat they used to be, a number of reinforced concrete pens were put out of action before war's end. In the final months of the war, after the stunning success of the tall boy, Wallis was given approval to build an even bigger bomb, the Grand Slam. At 22,000 pounds, was nearly double the size of the tall boy. It was the largest non-nuclear bomb ever used in World War II. It was so heavy that a new model of Lancaster bomber had to be specially constructed to carry it. Only a handful of raids were carried out in the 2 months before the war in Europe ended. The U.S. military was interested. Their forces in the Pacific struggled to crack Japanese bunkers with their 16-inch shells. Tall boys built under license in the States were named T-10. Problems modifying the B-29 Super Fortress to carry them meant they were never used before Japan surrendered. 80 years later, against Iranian underground nuclear facilities, the United States used its modern-day equivalent. From the rail tunnels of Nazi France to the nuclear bunkers beneath Iran, the tall boy's legacy never died. The size got a little bigger, modern materials made it burrow a little deeper, and GPS made it a little more accurate. But the GBU-57 that hit Fordow and Natanz can trace its lineage back to Barnes Wallis. Once dismissed as a dreamer, he redefined the physics of bombing, although he would have preferred to be remembered for what he believed to be a more significant contribution to the world.
He's the grandfather of 20 grandchildren.
Press that like button and don't forget to ring the bell icon so you don't miss the next video. Check out my channel page for more great videos like this one.